Love First TV. What's up?
What's up? It's the City Girls. Shout out Love First. Love First. Period.
What's up, man? You know what time it is? Fresh with a PH, man. Shout out to Love First TV, man. Don't play this up. Get in tune. Love First, man. PH.
What up, everybody? It's another episode of the Love First podcast. It's your boy, Kata Don. We have Natica in the building.
Hey.
And guys, when I say it's a special episode, we have a CEO mogul in the building with his own record label, all facets of entertainment. This is the guy you want to learn from and get these keys to success. Yes, we have Mike Loco in the building. How are you doing, my brother?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Man, it's a pleasure. Thank you for coming in. Before we actually get started, man, we got to shout out our sponsors at Manscaped. Make sure you use that 20% discount code in that description. Your girl will appreciate you. You'll love it. Right, Natica co-signed that record, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and you have a sponsor you want to give a quick shout out to before we get in there?
Quick shout out to Metzli Shop. I am wearing her teacher earrings. I used to be a teacher, and
Yes.
even though I'm not teaching anymore, I appreciate all teachers and students, always learning, always teaching. Use my code Natica Music, 20% off, Natica Music.
Yes, it's in the description, so it's going down. I usually kick off the questions, but I want to give Natica to let her kick it off with these questions today.
Okay.
Then I'm coming in.
All right. So, where does the nickname Loco come from?
Yeah.
That comes from a lot of things. It depends on what era of my life that came from. I mean, when I was young, I used to do the crazy things like jumping off the monkey bars that no one else would, and I've
Parkour.
I've been known to be a little quick-tempered. So
Are you an Aries?
No, I'm a Gemini.
Oh, me too. Oh, the three Geminis in the building. Three of them.
Crazy can also be used in a passionate sense, to where like I literally would put forth the craziest effort to achieve what I want to do.
Yes.
There's
yes.
no rules. You
Yes.
know, it's just me and the road ahead. So, like I said, it depends on which facet of life or what mood you put me in. There's all kinds of crazy. So, that's where that came from.
I like that. I like
For
that answer.
sure, that's fire. And shout out 3 Geminis in one place. So all y'all other signs that's hating right now,
There's 6 of us.
6 of us. What y'all gonna do?
And I actually had to learn all that other stuff. So I'm like cusp of Taurus, Leo moon.
Cusp of
Don't ask me
Taurus.
what it means, but I'm a king by birth, so
There
I
we
guess
go.
the stars aligned.
That's what matters. Now you also got another nickname I want to ask you about, man. Tell us about Suge.
Again, I mean, there was situations that arrived, and I'm very passionate about the things that I'm involved with and the people that I protect, and it's just better to stay on my good side.
Yeah.
But we all have that switch, and there was a situation to where
Gemini.
I had to assert a certain situation, and someone came up to me one night and they were like, "Yo, you're like the Suge Knight in New York. We're gonna start calling you Suge Mike."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm not really hanging people off balconies."
Oh, that's
but
what I was about to ask. Yeah.
But I mean, mess with my loved ones, we'll find out.
Don't hang them off a balcony, but they, hang them off somewhere. It might not necessarily be a balcony, but
It's easy to negotiate with me.
Yes. Now, you are a CEO. You're doing amazing things with MLM Entertainment.
Correct.
For those that might not know, let us know what MLM Entertainment is doing, what it stands for, what y'all have going on.
Well, see, the biggest misconception is people think that MLM stands for like Mike Loco Music. I am not that narcissistic.
Okay, all right.
It comes from many phases, because we're not just a record label. We're in multiple forms of entertainment. So we're making legendary music. We're making lasting moments, making legitimate moves. Whatever the anagram you want it to be, whatever you want it to mean for you, that's what MLM represents. It's what it calls out to you. At the end of the day, we build it like a family, and we're trying to touch a lot of different areas and aspects of the entertainment industry. And I'm a very big advocate for education, so shouts to you for being a former teacher.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I feel there's a big hole and void in the industry of the lack of education.
Absolutely.
So I'm a
sure.
champion of spreading that education and making sure that it's known and people learn the business side of things, whether it's with music, whether it's with production, whether it's with acting, whether it's modeling. And then I'm also using the entertainment portion of it to create our own events and curate real events and show you what real promotion is and what real, you know, production quality is to the best of our ability as we grow the company. Yes.
No, that's amazing. And what I really like what you were saying too is the education point of it. You know, I think it's very important because especially artists on the come up and even ones that are already there, it's such a lack of information. If you're on the come up, a lot of artists believe, hey, it's just about, like if you do music, oh, it's just about a good song. I'm gonna just put a good song out and go viral and boom.
Right.
No, that's not how it works. It's a music business, you know, so the business is a key to it. And a lot of artists that are already on have no idea how the business goes. So I love what you're saying about education. So what are things that you do to educate your artists?
Well, for my artists specifically, there's certain things that I force them to do themselves. For example, with advocating for education is why I did the imprint partnership with Video Distribution to make MLM Distro, where we cover things like admin publishing and establishing mechanical royalties, songwriter royalties, and establishing your PRO royalties outside of the 50 United States to worldwide coverage.
Yes.
And having things, you know, collect on YouTube, Content ID. You start speaking about all of that, and artists are going to look at you like, oh, you're crazy, because they're just starting to learn about ASCAP and BMI. So I'm educating about that, but at the same time, I'm looking to form partnerships with companies that are on the same wavelength. So that's where we formed MLM Distro, so that way now we can become a one-shop stop and you can have a dashboard and you don't have to sit there and log in like, all right, here's my distro kid, here's my song trust, here's this, and I got to log into all these different things. I have no idea. What I also did was, because I tend to have the same conversation a lot. So I created a PDF document that now I can just fire off to an artist, you know, with no problem. I don't charge for it or anything, and it's just basically, for lack of a better term, it's, you know, distribution for dummies. You know, it starts off and it's explaining to you what an IPI number is.
Yes.
You know, like a lot of artists, they don't know what an IPI number is, but they're doing features, and it's like, well, how are you getting paid? You're not registering that IPI number, like you can't get your percentages.
You have to track the song,
you know, and so not only am I just saying the word IPI number, I'm explaining to them what that is, and there's a small little, you know, paragraph on each thing. And when we talk about admin publishing, and we talk about ISRCs, and we talk about UPCs, and we talk about sync places, whatever I'm talking about, this document now gives you a step-by-step of what you need to do, starting with your cover art and where you need to register your music, so that way you can get as many of your pennies in one piggy bank as possible and leave nothing on the table.
Exactly. Education right there. Y'all just got some free education right there, right? No, that's real. That's real.
So I'm assuming you got all of this, like your education, you educating artists. I'm sure you got from your start when you began interning at a casting agency, and then later on at a record label. So talk to me about your experience.
All right, well, I didn't know anything about royalties then. The industry did its dirt to me too, because I was uneducated. I learned everything that I'm speaking on right now about 4 or 5 years ago, because what I did in those situations, I only wore 1 or 2, 3 hats. Now, becoming an independent manager, which led to being an independent label, I had to put on 18, 19 other hats. And starting a company, there's no capital, there's no payroll. So I always tell people, whatever you can't afford to outsource or hire someone to do, you better learn it yourself.
Right, that makes sense.
So back then, I didn't know those things, and it came from a different cloth back then, like with casting, all right? I was like 14, 15. I was like, oh, I want to be an actor. So I just have a different approach than people. People will sit back at home and wait for opportunity. I'm not that guy. I went and interned at a talent agency. I ended up becoming a talent agent. But every time the fax machine went off, the first sheet of paper that came out, if it was an audition or something that fit my typecast, I was the first name on the list.
Oh, wow.
So I put myself right in front of where the work needed to be. I'm not going to wait for someone else to find me work. I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was working with someone, and I could say her name. Her name was Danielle Hawkins. And at the time, she was working in the casting agency too, and she had her resume and paperwork into a major label. And from working with her and everything else, the real Roxanne, I don't know if you, I'm aging myself right now, but the UTFO song, Real Roxanne, and not to be confused with Roxanne Shante, for those who don't understand that they're 2 different people. But the real Roxanne walked in, and she was like just looking to make cameos and things like that. And I grew up around music. I love music. I love the entertainment industry. So I couldn't not talk to her and be like, well, what are you doing with your music? And long story short, here I am at 16 years old, auditioning dances for her, getting the dances together, getting choreographers, talking about production stuff. And she had a single that was actually being worked on, and we were coming up with ideas and treatments. Like we would be on this whole, I don't know if you know Todd McFarlane's Spawn, but she was going to have this whole like Spawn cape and everything else. And then again, think outside the box. So we needed clothing for the dancers. So I went to the Source magazine. Now, if you really paid attention and you opened the Source magazine, near the back cover, 2 pages before the end of the book, everyone that was advertised in the book, they had all the addresses and phone numbers right there in this little small column.
So like a Yellow Pages.
So I went and heard no 31 times. Now, let me explain to you my philosophy on no. No stands for nothing other than next opportunity.
I love that.
So I heard no 31 times until I landed on a gentleman named Greg Ingram's phone number from Pure Players Clothing. And had a conversation with him, and I've had this voice since I was very young, so he had no idea that I was 16 years old. So I set up the meeting. I get to his office. I walk in, and he's like, wait a minute. I'm like, listen, you liked what I had to say on the phone? Give me 10, 15 minutes and then throw me out your building. What do you got to lose? I left there with the sponsorship, and I got the Pure Players clothing. I even left with an orange Pure Players hat on my head that day. You know what I mean? Like, what's the worst anyone could tell me? No. I heard no my whole life. I asked my mom for a lollipop. No. Did it kill me? No. Ma, give me this toy. No. We were broke. I heard no a lot. So, and that's the other thing. Like, when you don't have something, there's different ways you can approach on wanting to change your stripes or change your patterns or get what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Depends on what road you want to take. Me, I was determined. So rewind back to what we were talking about. So, we set up a show with Fire Island. She did a whole big deal. And mind you, I was doing this off the cuff, off instinct. This was not trained. This was not taught. This was just me being a street hustler and getting stuff done. I don't know if we can curse. I'm trying to censor myself because I do cuss. But
I appreciate you. Love first.
So people that were working with me saw this. So when they got their foot in the door at the label, they brought me along as an intern. So the internship happened, and I was refused to get coffee and paperwork. That's not what I do. So I went in there the first day, and I went up to, I was like, can I sit in on this meeting? They were like, who the hell are you? And I was like, well, I'm this intern. And they said, get out of here, go do some paperwork. So I went and sat in the corner of the office and just watched.
You didn't do any paperwork.
I didn't do none of that. So the next morning, same thing, routine. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. I won't say names because that's the past. So it doesn't matter where I was. So, and they were like, get out of here. After the third day, they were like, why do you keep asking this question? We keep telling you no. I said, well, listen, I'm trying to maximize the opportunity. In 6 months, you're going to throw me out this building anyway. So rather than waste 6 months of my life, if you're going to throw me out now, or let me sit in this room and do what I do. And they said, but why? And I said, because to be honest with you, I don't want to spend the rest of my life getting coffee and paperwork. Like, that's not what I want to do. But I said it a little bit more differently because, like I said, I cuss. So when I took the respect away, I was like, I don't want to effing get coffee. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
That stood out to them. So they let me sit in the room.
Like you insisted, like you persevered.
Yeah, like, bro, I wasn't going to spend the next 6 months just being an errand boy. I'm better than that. And it's not being narcissistic. It's just I want more for myself. And I get it. Sometimes you got to be the errand boy to get to places. But I didn't. In this situation, there was like 14 other interns. Where am I standing out?
Right.
Yeah.
And at that time, wasting 6 months to do that and hoping that I have a 1 in 14 chance to impress someone or to stand in someone's, got good graces, I ain't got time for that.
You had to make a statement.
Yeah.
So I sat in that room and I had a black and white notebook and I just wrote.
Yeah.
The whole time they were talking, I was just writing. So obviously they stopped me after the meeting because they're discussing stuff with NDAs and the third, and they wanted to see what I wrote. What I was doing was I was listening to their approach and their strategies and everything, and I was putting my own little tweak on things of what I would do in addition.
Yeah.
And you know, they looked at my book, smiled, gave me back my book, and said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you report to this room. So that's what I did for the next few weeks. And then one of my strategies that I wrote, they told me to execute, and they moved me to street team. So, you know, I went from intern to, you know, street team associate, and then eventually headed up my own street team.
So by street team, what does that entail?
Street team work is multiple things, but what I specifically did was, there's apps that do what I did then, now, okay? I went out and I was pulling people off the street.
Okay.
Give them a piece of paper, age, nationality, that's that, just so we can get a demographic. Gave them some pizza, some soda, played them 5 songs, didn't tell them who they were. Sure, you probably knew some of them by voice, but it doesn't matter. We gave them test singles. Give us a score of 1 to 5. What did you like, what you didn't like, and rate these songs in order or whatever. And for that, we would just collect statistics. And then on top of that, we also would go out and we were putting up flyers, we were handing out promotional content, free CDs,
You
free
were the
t-shirts.
boots on the ground.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that I still instill today that so many people ignore.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like there's nothing better than that in-person contact. You know, that in-person, and that's why when the record stores closed, a large portion of super fan creation was taken away, and people don't realize that, as well as a lot of capital.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what street teaming was just you were working the streets, and you know, pause because that sounds like something else. But you know, you were boots on the ground, getting the name out there, getting the merch out there. You know, for example, Def Jam used to have this sampler CD, okay, and what they did was they made it look like comic book characters. So it would be like DMX was on the cover with these lasers coming out of his eyes and these big ass cartoon dogs looking mad serious. But that's how they dropped the second round knockout by Cannabis and the response from LL Cool J. And there was a song from Onyx, and then there was a Method Man song. So all these songs were on this little sampler, 5 CD sampler. Now imagine you walk in the streets and someone hands you that CD for free. First of all, the cover looked cool, and it was all bangers. You know, and street team would go out and just hand out thousands of these.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, they made it, took a hit, and it might have been songs that they weren't necessarily going to make singles, or if they did make it a single, they took the L because now you bought the album.
Yes.
You know, give you a little, like, why do you think, like, when you go to the mall and you get that chicken teriyaki, they're out there all day giving away all those free pieces?
Yeah.
Why do you think they do that?
Because they want to get a gauge of what.
Because they know their stuff is slapping, and you're going to go get a whole tray of it now because you got 1 or 2 pieces for free.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the same mentality. You got to give people something and not be worried about what it cost you, because the bigger picture is always going to tell the bigger story.
Well, that's the investment.
Yeah. And the like what you said, because a lot of artists and people are only solely dependent on the internet when you have that physical reaction, and that's something I've been preaching to, and you actually go see them. So even using the chicken teriyaki example, like, I remember getting that at 10 years old. I'll never forget it on 34th Street. It's something that will not only lure you in because it's slapping, but two, it's like, I now have a memory of this. This is something that is now unique that doesn't just happen every day. So now I will specifically remember this person, this place. Okay, this person came around with the CD. This person came around with the merch. It was doing this and so confident. Now I have that experience, you know, and that's what, like you said, which is going to make a super fan, and people really go out there and support you because they're like, oh, I like these people. But I actually met this person. I actually met people from their team. They actually did this for me, and that's super important. What I want to touch on, and I need the audience to take that as a major key. When I say major key alert, that means get your pens and your pencils and your notes ready. When you said no, just means next opportunity. You know, we live in a world where so many people are afraid of the word no. Like, it's a real thing of how fearful.
Oh, I got a better one for you.
Yeah, let me hear.
FAIL. What do you think FAIL stands for?
What does that stand for?
First attempt in learning.
Ooh, yes. I love
Exactly.
that.
You have to fail before you succeed.
That's
100.
true. That's true.
If you don't know how to make a pizza and the first time you try to throw some dough and sauce and cheese together, you're probably going to mess that the hell up and burn it. Sauce is going to spill. Is it a failure? No, you're just learning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't be scared to learn. Like, a lot of people just want to look perfect all the time. No, listen. Go out there, fail, learn, get to your next opportunity, and you're gonna watch yourself grow, and you're gonna watch yourself achieve success. But there's people that really have anxiety over the word no. I be sitting there with people like, hey, go up and do that. I don't know. I'm like, well, what's the worst? The best that can happen is you get accomplished what you want to get done. The worst is you just hear the word no.
Well, it's perspective based. No one likes to hear no. Think about it. Think about you're a little younger, you're single, you want to go holler at the girl. You don't want to get rejected. Rejection sucks.
No.
I'll be the first to say it. Sure, no can be damning, but it ain't going to kill you.
Exactly.
All right, cool. You know, we live in a world with 7.4 billion people. You're going to hear no. And let's just use it on the male-female demographic. There's 3 women to every male. Okay? You're going to hear no 66% of the time. That's a large number. You're going to hear no 66% more than you hear yes at 33%. And that's if, depending on the ranking, that number could even grow even more exponentially. But it's not 100%.
Yeah.
So you're never going to have 100% definitive no in anything you do. So find your yes.
Find that yes. Get to that yes. So that's what we're searching for is the yes. So search for that yes. You're gonna see things happen.
But it's a double-edged sword, because if you're looking for your yes, but you don't have a superior product and you don't have a fine-tuned product and you're just trying to dial it in, you're fooling yourself. You know, take your craft seriously. Yeah. You know, like if you were a basketball player, you're out there working on your jump shot, you're working on your free throw. If you're a boxer, you're in the gym training this, that, and the third. You can't just sit there and say, it's Tuesday, I want to make music, I'm going to be an artist. Go record something into, you know, a USB mic, don't mix, don't master, the beat's terrible, and be like, so now I'm just going to shop this because someone's going to say yes. The preparation is key.
Exactly. You know, even what I like what you said about that, what I try to tell like the people around me is what separates Michael Jordan, Kobe, and even Floyd Mayweather is, yes, they were talented, but they work like they have no talent. They're so prepared. Like they stay, like not just leaning on, hey, I have this ability, but I'm going to put every single possible thing I can do. I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to be ready and I'm going to be prepared. So like what you said, preparation is key. Don't just lean on it, hey, I could do this easy. I'm just talented. I'm the gift to the world, you know? You have to mix it with that preparation, that hard work. The more talented you are, it'll come easier if you put that work with it.
Well, let me ask you a question. Yeah. You know names like Jerry Rice, Deion Sanders, and Walter Payton, right? What you probably don't know is how they trained. Like Jerry Rice used to run up a mountain, just like Walter Payton. Walter Payton inspired Jerry Rice to do that same thing. He would run up a mountain, and he would condition himself with different, you know, climates and levels of height. Yeah. And it's kind of like Instagram. Like back in the day, you only heard about the highlights. You only heard about the cool stories, but no one ever dug deep. It's just like most people are going to post their wins, not their losses.
Right.
Yes.
You know, on Instagram. But you got to do your research. So it's like, if you're aspiring to be like Jerry Rice, you better learn that, man. You better know what made Jerry Rice Jerry Rice. You better learn what made Michael Jordan Michael Jordan. Because if you just sit there and say, hey, I can hit 7 out of 10 3-pointers, I'm Michael Jordan, you're missing 98% of the toolbox.
Yep.
You don't go for just what you see on face value. You better find out what made that man tick. And Deion Sanders, while everyone was sleeping on the plane, that man would study film. Constantly studied film of himself and his opponents of what was going on. That's why he was such an excellent cornerback and DB. You know, so again, don't look at just the awards and don't look at the progress. Look at what he did to get to that progress. Model yourself off of what the same work ethic was, not the finished result. You know, you can't start at the end.
That's your key.
So,
I mean, that's real, because a lot of people just look at, hey, they're on TV, hey, they just appeared there and just poof, you know, like it takes a lot of work. Like if you really want to get into something, I would say research the behind the scenes part. You know, like you said, don't just look at the TV part. Like really research the behind the scenes of what it takes to get there, because a lot of people, they don't make it or they fall so easy because they were unprepared. They didn't know what it really means. You know, so. Even with you and your ambition, you know, a lot of this stuff with you being at the casting agency and the record label, you did all of this before you even like turned 18.
Correct.
You know, so you know, so just being on that grind and learning, building these relationships. What would you say? What are the most notable people you've got to work with, and what did you learn from them?
Well, we were talking about video stuff before we got here. So I've been on a lot of sets with Hype Williams.
Yeah.
That man
Amazing
runs
director.
music videos like it's a movie set.
Yeah.
He's got like 7 cameras running. The sets are crazy, you know, and what independent artists think is making a music video now, there's nothing in comparison to what an actual set is like. So I learned a lot from just even observing Hype Williams and the different, you know, assistant directors, the ADs, even the PAs and the gaffers, you know, just looking at how many components are needed for what, you know, you see the finished result. Again, don't focus on the finish. You know, you watch a music video, you have no idea all the work and all the people that it took to go into that, and then what the budget was for that. So if you don't have this budget and you can't get these people, what makes you think you can get that finished result?
Right.
So now you have to work within your means. You have to earn your way. There are steps to everything.
Yeah.
You know, I've met a lot of people that instilled a lot of wisdom. I've had a couple of conversations with Kevin Lyles that, you know, I met him when I was real young, and he put a lot of, you know, gems and things into, like, and just even just watching him. Yeah. Sometimes it's not even about conversation. Sometimes you just need to shut the hell up and observe and watch, you know, and not be so quick to want to hurry up and get somewhere. Sometimes you need to hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
You know, and just really see what the inner workings are and what goes on, and watching the people that aren't talked about. See, like, it's not even about the bigger names. Some of the people I learned the most from, I don't even remember their name. They were just people in passing or people that I had one conversation with. You have to understand something. We live in a world, again, with a lot of people. There's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of different personalities, a lot of different approaches. Yeah. There is no one correct answer for anything that you do. Yeah. You have to find your path. You have to find what works for you. So maybe you'll tell me some advice, and maybe she'll tell me some advice, and maybe he'll tell me some advice. And I won't agree with everything that each of you said, but I'll take 20% from you, 15% from her, maybe another 8% from him, and then I'll throw my own little spin on it, like what I did when I was in those meetings. Yeah. You know, and you find what works, and then it's trial and error. You know, the only time you really lose is when you quit. Yeah. You know, and you gotta understand that you can't put all your eggs in one basket either, because there's a lot of people that don't realize the path that they want isn't what's meant for them, but it's not far off from it either. Yeah. Not everyone has the voice to be an artist. Not everyone has the charisma, but they may have the pen to be an excellent writer. They may know how to structure a song, you know, or, you know, they may have good arrangement to be a producer or a vocal producer, or, you know the right people to A&R and start bringing a team around someone and build a sound. Yeah. You know, everyone just finalizes and makes things so vague. There's so many intricate moving parts to any industry. You know, find where it makes sense and what you enjoy and what you could, I don't want to say be successful, because to me successful isn't a dollar amount. Yeah. Successful is a mindset.
I believe in that too.
Okay, and there's different versions of success. Yep. You know, and you understand what you could do that, where you can wake up in the morning and not care about shutting that alarm off, and you're enjoying what you do, and you look forward to going what you do, and everything is work. People have this misconception that certain things are just lit. You know, like, oh, we're about to be lit. I'm about to be this hip hop artist, or I'm about to be this pop artist. And I'm like, bro, man, listen, there's giving up your 9 to 5 to work for music, you're committing to a 24/7 job.
Oh my God.
A nonstop overtime.
25/8.
Go get overtime.
I identify with that so much. So last month I threw a barbecue on my birthday, and I feel like my barbecue in some way became like a networking event.
Yeah, I got some networking in.
And like some people came up to me, they're like, wow, I met some amazing people, and I'm like, I'm so glad that I was the cause of that. So yeah, it is a networking event, but wherever you go.
That's the thing though. You provided a space without even meaning to, but those people took the initiative to have a conversation.
Exactly.
You got to strip your ego and your pride and not be afraid to ask questions and not be afraid to interact with people. We live in an age now with social media that's really made the world so antisocial. No one knows how to have a conversation, or someone's just automatically assumes, like if I met you on the street and I was saying, you know, like, hey, you know, pardon me, you know, your earrings look great. Most females would be like, oh, this guy's hitting on me. Like, no, I just like your damn earrings, stupid. Like, why can't it just be that? Why can't I just like your earrings? Maybe I like the earrings and I want to go get it for my shorty. Like, why has it got to be so much more read into it? You know, because everything, you know, it starts to get more sensitive, or because they're starting to associate more things to be a definitive direction, but it's not always the case, because again, we're all different. Like I said, don't assume. The first 3 letters of assume are a word I probably don't know if you sense it or not. So
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? So
You guys know.
you know, but there's more to it, because after the first 3 letters, I'm making it out of you and me. Finish spelling the word assume.
Yeah. Oh. I
Told you, I be having these one-liners that just come out by accident.
No, you're real. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So even on, so what I would say on because you work with different, not just artists, but also producers, dancers, and things of that nature. So on the show, we do have a lot of producers that are watching it, some coming up, some that are doing things. And a similar question I get from a lot of them is, as a producer, like, what can I do to get more placements? Like, what are keys to success to achieving that?
All right. I have a different observation of what a producer is. And there's a lot more beat makers that think they're producers.
It's not the same thing.
Okay.
Yes. Break
There's a
that
lot of
down. Yeah, break that
overlap.
down.
And if you're looking to move into placements in an industry standard, you need to learn what industry quality and industry standard is. Yes. If you're just taking a bunch of loops off Splice and throwing a kick and a drum pattern on it, and there's no arrangement, and you're not mastering the sounds, you're trying to take a shortcut. And there's so many people that will sit there and you don't have to actually necessarily play the instruments, because you know we have technology now. You can break out a MIDI and tap out a drum beat and tap out an electric guitar, and you can tap out those things. But you also need to, again, invest in your craft. Learn keys and what keys invoke what emotions, and how the keys contrast with the key of the beat with the key of the vocal.
Oh yeah.
You know, sometimes having the wrong tone of vocal on a certain beat is just not going to work. Learn the sonic qualities.
Yep.
Music theory, music theory, music theory.
Yup.
Learn music theory.
Yes.
Like I said, everyone's in a rush. Like, cool, you can have some beats in your head and everything. Like, dude, I have music in my head all day long. I never learned how to use, I'm gonna date myself again. I never learned how to use a DAT machine and the 8-beat DAT and all that stuff. And I look at everyone on the doors now and I'm like, but I have a natural gift to where I don't need metronome. You put me on a MIDI, I'll tap out a beat, it'll be on beat. Guaranteed. But I don't know how to use everything.
Yeah.
But what I was known for was I'll stand over your shoulder and I'll start mimicking sounds with my mouth, or I'll start giving you an idea, or I'll tap out a beat and be like, yo, let's do that. And I'll start playing with something. When I hear something I like, yeah, let's do it like that. And now let's stretch this. That probably just blew a bunch of producers' mind, because they're not even looking at it like that.
Yes.
Because I'm sorry, you're a beat maker. But it's okay to be a beat maker. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But learn your craft.
Yeah.
And if you want to get into places, whatever, start. Like everyone loves to say, we outside. We outside is not 15 feet in front of your house. Go to events. Bro, here's a real easy tip. Which camera's on me? That one?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk directly to you.
Talk to him.
Go to Eventbrite. Go to Dice. Go to these different things. Search free networking music events. Maybe even put the keyword producer. And when it says that there's one there, don't forget to go. Get your ass out of your house, go there, and learn. Ask questions. Network.
You're
like
so
her
right.
barbecue.
Yes.
So how do you want to get placements? I'm not going to give you the golden rule. I'm not about to drop you like Ghazi's email address or something like that from Empire. But Empire has networking events all the time. I'm working with 3 producers that I'm talking with that, they started getting their foot in the door, and now they're getting invited on a regular basis to these Empire producer events.
Yeah.
So now they're in talks with different artists that are doing things.
Yes.
You have to put yourself out there, and you got to also have the quality of work. Yeah. If one big thing, like, because I've had my artists get played on the radio. How do you get your artists on the radio? I have the most simplest answer.
What's that?
Listen to the radio. If what you're making doesn't sound like what's on the radio, good chance you're probably not going to get on the radio, unless you have a good radio agent and you're spending this, that, there. But even still then, having the money or having a radio agent or having a friend at a radio station doesn't mean that's going to magically get you on the radio.
Right. The music
you
has
have
to
to
be
sound,
good,
and compression, like you sit there and you record a vocal at a certain point and it's too low. When it goes through the radio waves, the compression goes and now the beat's swallowing the vocal and you can't even hear the vocal anymore.
Yes.
That's why you got to listen to the track in multiple locations, and I blame SoundCloud. I blame the DSPs, because we went to an era to where everything went to, an earbud. Yeah. We weren't listening to it on the big speakers or the surround sound speakers or in the club. You know, everything was in the earbuds. So the most common consumer was just walking around with earbuds. So there was a lot of room for error that could be forgiven. You know, you didn't have sounds panning. And if you did, you know, it was forgiven because the quality was so reduced because you were just coming through this little tiny hole into an earbud. Whereas, you know, my generation, we had these big dookie Kobe headphones, bro, and everyone on the bus was listening to what I was listening to because I was just an idiot and I played my stuff loud, and you're going to listen to what I'm listening to. And then, you know, and if my headphones broke, I was looking for the dude with the big dookie Kobe's so I could listen to what he was listening to because I was salty that mine were broken or my batteries died. You know what I mean? So that's just how it was. Not earbuds, bro. I could be literally, I ain't hearing what you're hearing. It's so direct and there's so much room to mask mistakes. But then you take them same records, you take some of them SoundCloud records that really went, and you put it into a surround sound system, you put it in a club, all of a sudden you hear all that mud, all that feed, all that noise and distortion, and you're like, whoa, this don't sound like what I remember. You sitting there playing with the EQ in your car like crazy because now you grew up. So now you went from being on the bus and the train with your earbuds, now you got the system in your whip, and you're like, I don't remember this sounding like this. This is pretty bad. That's why. Understanding, you know, so again, just study all you need to learn. Go to accredited schools to learn, you know, engineering and sound quality. Because being a producer, you do have to have engineering background. You need to understand how sound works and how music works and how key of change, it makes sense. It's side chain and everything else. Like, you need to know this stuff, and I'm not a producer. So if I know this much and you calling yourself a producer and I'm making you confused and scratch your head, shame on you because I'm not a producer. So if I know more than you, step your shit up.
And yeah, it's true what you're saying. And invest in yourself, which is more than just money. It's time and knowledge.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like you said, go to school for it when you can. And then even we live in a world where you can literally learn anything online.
Bro, YouTube University
I was about
to
say, you can learn
Seriously.
instead of watching just a bunch of funny videos and memes, take some of that time and energy. You can literally learn. I went to a music school and I got mad on YouTube when I learned something I didn't learn at the music school. I was like,
but
YouTube got everything.
Like, how did I tell you I started in acting? How did I tell you I started in music in general? I went and worked for free.
Interning, yeah.
Talk to someone, be like, hey, you're at a studio, can I come shadow you? You don't even got, like, can I just come and watch? Can I invest my time and just be a fly on the wall? Can I, you know, I'll sweep the studio, whatever it is. Like, you don't got to get paid. Education is value. People don't want to pay for consultation and that, but you'll pay 60, 70 grand a year to go to college. It's the same thing. You're paying for education in one thing, but you won't have a risk for education in another. You sound stupid.
Exactly.
So go volunteer, go intern, go put yourself in a position to make yourself better.
Yes.
You have to make sacrifices to get ahead.
Yes. So be outside, do the research, invest in yourself.
And then get into the rooms to have the right conversations.
Make those connections.
Digilog, they're a great company. They do networking events almost every other month for free. You just got to, I know this may be difficult for a lot of people. You got to log in.
Was it
you got to
Digilog?
enter.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say that one more time.
Digilog, yeah.
Digilog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Digilouge.
Okay.
They do networking events all the time. You'll meet people from all different walks. You'll meet the guy that, you know, works in the mailroom at Facebook, and then you'll meet this producer that's there. Like, it's a very big networking event. Shouts to Digilog. Like, they do a lot of amazing things, and there's tons of people that do that. But like I said, like, you're there, and like I said, the only thing you got to do is enter your name, your first name, your last name, your number, and your email. That's it. You're done. And then they email you a ticket. It's a free event. If that's too much work, quit.
Yeah, that's real. That's for real. What are you doing?
And leave your house. That's the other part of your job.
Leave your house.
Leave your house.
More than 15 feet. Like, really all the way outside. Don't just, you know, tippy toe outside, but all the way outside. Go out there, and you'll be surprised what happened just by going outside.
Seriously.
We do have a commercial break, but when we come back, we have some major keys to success for entrepreneurs. If you want to know what you can do to be successful, what your mindset should be like, we're gonna get some keys from him. And also, upcoming artists, we're gonna ask him what are the major people that you should have on your team as an upcoming artist to be successful and get where you want to be. How you need to build your team. So make sure y'all stay tuned. And of course, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. And if you don't have the Love First TV streaming app, what are you doing? It's keys to success. Invest in yourself, okay? Why hate when you can love first? Yeah? It's your boy K the Don from the Love First podcast.
And I'm Natica.
Yes, and if you love the podcast, you want to get your brand in here, we are doing commercials. All you have to do is reach out and you can have your commercials in our Love First podcast episodes. In our first year, we already had over 9 million watch time minutes, over thousands of views every single episode. So get your brand, get your commercial, put it in the Love First podcast.
I've never done ambassador or partnership programs, even though I get a lot of unsolicited DMs from random profiles, because I'm not going to promote something I don't like or believe in. But when Areli of Metzli Shop announced her affiliate program, I literally jumped at the opportunity because I already own some of her jewelry and I truly love them. All of Metzli Shop's jewelry is nickel-free, and these butterfly earrings were so cute, lightweight, didn't irritate my ears at all, and I got so many compliments on them. If you like what you see, head over to Metzli Shop's page and use promo code NATICAMUSIC for 15% off your next purchase.
Man! Wait, man! Hold on. I just came to tell you about something that's going to change your life. Man! It's going to change your life. The Love First TV. Where did you come from? Man, that's not important.
Well, you better say something.
What is important is the Love First TV app. It's available for all iOS and Android devices. It'll literally change your life if you want to start a business, if you want to get funded, and just be inspired. I got you right here. So all you have to do is hit subscribe and watch it change your life. Just don't hit me. Just hit subscribe. Yeah.
Don't cry when I come around. I want to see you smile. Don't cry when I come around. I want to see you smile. You could call me daddy, 'cause I'll always be here to hold you tight in my arms and protect you. You could call me daddy, 'cause I'll always be here to hold you tight in my arms and protect you.
You can see Love First TV inspired me to begin my little dream, and the finance channel helped me get the money to start my little entrepreneur dream, which is this, as you see right here.
Hello everyone, it's Kwame Dickerson, aka K the Don. I'm the CEO and founder of Love First TV. It's the app that'll literally change your life. From our Love First podcast, where we inspire you, give out keys to success, our finance channel, where we teach you how to start up your business, get funding for your business, and a whole lot more. We have web series, comedy shows, game shows, the list just doesn't stop. And we have a bunch of tutorials that'll teach you just about anything. So all you have to do is download the app to your phone, your iPhone or Android device, and then from there you just pick a plan. It's only $5 a month. Or you can sign up for our most popular plan, which is our annual plan. You save 17% on that. It's only $50, that's right, only $50 for the year, and that's a one-time fee. So make sure you sign up and unlock your keys to success today. Love First TV.
Yeah, but seriously though, how'd you get into my house, man?
Yeah, I mean, that's not important.
Alright, okay, if you say so.
What up everyone, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell for the latest podcasts, music videos, and comedy skits. We got a lot more content coming your way.
We here all day, baby.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel, baby.
East Coast, know I'm rockin' with y'all. West Coast, know I'm rockin' with y'all. North Side, know I'm rockin' with y'all. South Side, know I'm rockin' with y'all. I'm still riding with my day, 'cause I'm rockin' with y'all. Polk County, throw your hands up, I'm rockin' with y'all. Long Beach, throw your hands up, I'm rockin' with y'all. Throw some bread in